I think someplace like 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay. Can you tell us what time of the day we're up to now? When that would be over?
Around, I think, 2:45.
Okay. What'd they do at 2:45?
At a bathroom break.
Okay.
And staying in separate rooms, they did exercises. It was an exercise period.
Was the exercise period voluntary or mandatory?
Like every other activity, the program was expected that people do it, but there were people who didn't. People who were sick didn't do it. Some of the people who were rebellious with the process didn't do it. They just sat down and refused to do it, and they were allowed to do that.
Did they get to change their clothes to do this?
No.
Okay, so they did them in the same, they exercised in the same clothing they wore when they came in the morning?
That's correct.
How long did the exercise period end?
I think about 20 to 25 minutes.
And when the exercise period was over, did they get to change their clothes?
No.
Okay. What happened then?
I think they then went to afternoon wrap, which lasted about an hour and a half.
Okay. How was the subject of that wrap different than the others? In brief terms, just
it was like morning wrap.
Okay. Again, in the lodge room.
Sometimes.
Boys and girls together.
Sometimes.
Couple of senior staff members, a couple of staff members in the front.
Yes.
People talking about issues.
Yes.
Motivating.
Yes.
What time was afternoon wrap over?
5:30, 5:45, I think. I don't remember the exact schedule.
What'd they do then?
Have dinner, go to the bathroom, water fountain, dinner. Dinner was the same kind of period that lunch was in terms of various activities.
Okay. Served on these trays?
Yes.
Okay. And when they ate dinner, did they sit at a table or did they sit in their blue plastic chairs?
They sat in the blue chairs.
Okay. There was no separate dining?
No separate dining facility.
Okay. And at that point, after dinner, what did they do?
They had rules wrap, which was like basics wrap, not like the other wraps, where they were reciting rules and explaining what they meant and what the rationale behind the rule was.
From your perspective, this was another form of group therapy?
Yeah, more didactic than the regular group therapy things.
Okay. And they were all, boys and girls were together for this?
Yes.
And who conducted this wrap?
Group staff members.
Okay. And what time was that over?
I would say probably by 7:15.
Okay. Then what did they do?
They had night wrap.
How was night wrap different than morning and afternoon wrap?
The guidelines for it call for no confrontation. It was generally supposed to be on an upbeat, inspirational, inspiring kind of thing, in terms of recovery and a better life and putting their family relationship back together and that kind of thing. So it had a different tone than morning wrap and afternoon wrap and girls and guys wrap.
Other than the difference in tone you've just described, its structure was the same? Staff members in the front conducting it?
Yes.
Patients motivating in order to get to speak?
Yes.
Rules with respect to keeping your feet on the floor, your hands visible, paying attention to the person who is speaking?
Yes.
After that last wrap, after that, what happened? What time is it when that wrap is over?
Generally 8:30.
Okay. So they've now been at the facility for, assuming they got there close to 9 o'clock, closing in on 12 hours.
That's correct.
Okay. What happened at 8:30?
They began to get organized to go home. Usually during dinner, they would deal with host home assignments. If there were any kids, if there was any reason to change a host home assignment, then somebody would have to get like jackets, like knapsacks of old comers, like if newcomers were moving from one house to another, clothes, or if new clothes had been sent in by their parents, it would be handed out then. There would be a medication line. There would also be arrangements made for medication that needed to be taken later at home, at the host home, to be given to parents out front. So it was generally a kind of logistics period, getting organized to go home.
What time would they leave the facility?
Unless it was some kind of crisis, somebody upset or acting out or something, about 9 o'clock.
And they would leave, belt looped to the cars?
That's correct.
And go back to the host home with the same rules that they had?
Yes, that's correct.
For arriving in the morning?
That's correct.
Okay. When they got to the host home, it was anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour or so later. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What happened there?
It depended on the host home's order. You know, a lot of times they took their shower at night, sometimes before dinner, sometimes afterward. There would be like the fourth meal of the day, like a snack in the host home, where the family would all be together and they'd kind of share what went on with their day, family time. They would either before or after that write a therapeutic homework exercise called a moral inventory, which is the term AA uses for a therapeutic homework exercise. And the old comer would go over the newcomer's MIs, and they might take some time to set goals, and then they go to sleep.
Okay. With respect to the snack was a prescribed snack in the sense that it couldn't have sugar, it couldn't have white flour,
yeah,
it couldn't be sweet.
That's correct.
Okay. And
but it could be sweet, it could be fruit, it could be artificially sweetened, but it couldn't have processed sugar. That's correct.
Okay. And with respect to the moral inventory, this is something each patient was required to write every day,
That's
were they not?
correct.
Okay. And then they would go to sleep, right?
We hoped.
Okay. And while they slept, what prevented them from getting up and leaving? Or while they were supposed to be sleeping, what prevented them from getting up and leaving?
I'm not sure anything absolutely did, because people did get up and leave, but generally the old comer slept by the door. They pulled their bed by the door. Generally there was some kind of alarm on the door, so if it opened, the family would be notified. And we were particularly concerned about eloping underage people that the family and the program could have some accountability for.
Tell me about this alarm. Who provided these alarms?
The families did.
Where did they get them?
Radio Shack, hardware, I don't know.
Okay. So this was some special alarm they put so some noise, a buzzer would go off when the door opened?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything special. I think they're fairly common in those kind of places.
All right. And presumably they would get up in the morning and come back again the next day?
That's correct.
And every day when you were in first phase, with the exception of several days a week, which I'll come to, I think Sundays, Wednesday, well, that was certainly the way Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays went, was it not?
That's correct.
Okay. And Sundays was essentially the same, except you got to the program facility later in the day?
That's right.
What time did they get to the facility on Sundays?
2 o'clock.
Okay. And how about on Wednesdays? Did they get there a little later on Wednesdays?
No, they came the same time in the morning, but they left early. The program closed at 7 o'clock Wednesday evening.
Okay. So on Wednesdays, it was exactly the same as Tuesdays and Thursdays, except they left it a couple of hours earlier in the evening.
Well, it wasn't really, because what they did is instead of having the third meal of the day in the facility, they had the third meal at home as a family meal at night.
Okay. And when you say as a family meal, you don't mean with their own family. If you're a
No,
first phaser, you mean with somebody else's family.
With the host home family, yeah.
Okay.